Hello friends, and welcome to the video number 10 of our course Building a Website Application. In the previous videos we spoke about the general structure, the general design of any website. In this video we will talk about some minor points that will also help to build the website. The first point is that we will talk, you remember in the controller we use two classes, which are these ones. We auto-wire them and we use them, one of them at the recapture and one of them we wanted to hash the password of the user or even the reset token. Now we need to initialize these two classes so we can auto-wire them. So there should be one place where we initialize these classes, and then we can use them here at the controller. We can auto-wire them. The place to initialize these two classes is at the main application. The first class, the main class, there we will initialize these two classes. The first one of the recapture, it's a REST template class, so we call a bean, public REST template, and we get the initialization of this class. The second one is using with the bcrypt password encoder to initialize it. One point to notice here, the constructor of this class has few types. One constructor which has no arguments, another has one, another has two. I'm using the two, and the reason for that, this configuration using the secure random, the Java class secure random, will gives me a stronger hash process. So the hashing of the new user password will be more strength. That's why I'm using the two arguments, the two parameters constructor. So this is the first point. These classes, when we auto-wire them, we need to initialize them, and we initialize them at the application with this simple process. Now the second point is to talk about the recapture. As I have told you before, we will talk about it at the end. You see, the recapture, either it is when the user use the recapture, any user when he want to log in or to sign up, the user should pass the challenge of the recapture, either succeed or fail. If succeed, then he can log in or he can sign up or can do any other thing. If he failed, he cannot do. So this class, this method is available at a class by the name of recapture response, which consists of three fields: success, the challenge, and the host name. It has some getters and setters, from which we will use this object, I will talk about it now, to call this getter is success. Here we will see if the user will succeed in the challenge. If not, what will happen. So either the user succeed or fail. If succeed, what happen? If fail, what will happen? Now, how to get this object, the recapture response, which is this one? We need to get this object from this class. So we have to create it. Here, as you can see, recapture response, an object from it. Now this object, we will use the REST template object that we have created it. We have created it in here. So the object of the recapture response class, we will use the REST template object, and we call this method exchange. This method takes 4 parameters: the URL and the params, which, as I have told you here, this we get it directly from Google, and this one is the site secret key of your website or your local host. This represent the params. So these two things we will place at the first parameters. Then this method, http method.post, the third one you can use as null, and then we use the recapture response class dot get body of the response. This way we get this object of the recapture response, and then we can use this object to call this method, which is this getter, which is part of the recapture response class. And this way you can do all over wherever you wish to use the recapture. Now either it is success, what will happen? Of course the user can log in or can sign up or whatever. If the recapture fail, then we will redirect the user to the same page where he was. So if he was working on the login page, he will be redirected back to the login page because the recapture have been failed, and we give a message that will show up here that invalid captcha. This is the process of the recapture, and you can create it and how you can use the class of the recapture response. Now the third point we need to talk is which I told you before that I will talk about it at the end, is when we were creating the sign up module, we created a join table. Now joining table, there are many lectures over the internet. You can have a look over some of them and you can understand what's the meaning of joining table. Simply two tables, I need to connect them to each other, either inner or fully join or left join or right join. These details you can get, and I won't go through it in depth. This is just an idea because there are many lectures and many details about over the Google, so you can get to know about them. But here we are using many-to-many connection. We are using cascade equal cascade type all. We will use the join table. Now why we need to join two tables, the user table and the role table? Here we have made two tables, role table and user table. Now you remember when we were signing up, when a user wants to sign up a new account, we were giving the user a role. So every new user should have a role. Now this role we need to save it, persist it in the role table. Later on we need to know this user which role he has. Okay, so the process is that we save and we persist the new user, we give it a role, we save the role in the roles table, but then we have to do something. We have to do one thing, is that we connect this role to this new user. It has to be done, otherwise these roles will be useless. So this is the point of the joining the table, is that we connect each role to the corresponding user of that role. And this is the way how you do it. The user role table, or just the name. This is the combined table, which is the user role table. And we join the columns, which columns we select from one table to the other table, from the user table to the role table. And this is the way how you can do the joining of the columns in the role table and in the user table. And this way whenever a user registers a new account, we will assign a role to it. We save this role in the roles table, and afterward we will know when the user sign in, log in, we will know that this user has an administrative role, an admin role, or this user is a super user, or this user is just merely a site user, and accordingly we will give this user permissions, because the benefit of the roles is that we will assign permissions, privileges for this user to use it, to manipulate the database. This is the entire point of the joining table that I told you about earlier to speak about. The other point we will talk is about the web application website security. You see, any website that doesn't apply some sort of security, this website will fail. Users won't use it because they will not be safe about their data integrity. So we have to apply some sort of security to secure our web application, our website. In my case, I'm using the Spring Security, but which consists of, in general, 3 classes. But I will not talk about the security in this course. The next course I will do is about the Spring Security in a Spring Boot application, because the security is a very big issue, and you cannot cover with just one video or 2 videos. This is not possible. It's a very vast subject, and you have to, and I have to make a special course only for it. So we will talk about this package, and as I said, this is a very big security, big subject. In that course that I will make after this one is that we have to enable the Spring Security in a Spring Boot web application, which uses Maven, Timeleaf, and Hibernate. Now there are 3 ways of the security you can implement on any web application: extending the web security configurer adapter, enabling method security, which is Spring Security annotations, or using a JSON web token. We will do each way and apply it on the Spring Boot. So we will do the security with this way, then we will do the security with this way, then we will do the security with the JSON web token, and we will see what are the cons and pros of each way over the security of the Spring Boot web application. So that's why I'm keeping a single course, a private course only for the security, because it's a very big issue and a very big subject. You cannot cover it with 1 or 2 videos. Also, we will secure the data of the database using these 2 interfaces. We will apply it also alongside these 3 ways. So the next course will be on the applying enabling a Spring Security in a Spring Boot application. Now the final thing I would like to tell you about is that if you have anything, if you wish to get the entire code of this website, for those of you who subscribed to this Spring Boot application course, for those of you who have subscribed to this course, and if you wish to get the entire code, you just send me a message at the Udemy requesting the entire code and give me your email, so I can send you a share link email from which you can download the entire code, because the code here is a little bit file is big, so I prefer to share the link with you so you can download it later on. So if you subscribe to this course and you wish to get the entire code, send me a message at Udemy requiring the code, and give me your email so I can share with you the entire code and you can download it. Finally, I thank you for subscribing to this course, and I hope you will have fun with creating your website and probably website for others as well. And I thank you so much for your subscription.